And good evening. Hope you're all fabulous and warm because it's been a frosty, nasty day. How cold's it been actually? Top temperatures of only 10 to 12 degrees today. Most places were 10 to 11. And thankfully, some decent falls of rain, but nothing really extravagant at this stage. But it's still better than nothing. And let's hope for some more overnight because we know we like it, we enjoy it. Even though we don't want to be greedy, we did have some good falls at the start of the month, but it's winter. It should be rainy and cold like this, so why not give us some more? Thank you very much. Anyway, hope you're all fine. Otherwise, what a chaotic day with tsunami warnings and massive earthquakes, and I guess now we get to check out exactly whether we're going to have some own chaotic weather and consequences ourselves this weekend. I haven't even had a chance to look today. I've been so busy with everything. I have no idea. So we're going to look live, react this together. Well, we all saw what it was this morning. This morning still looked incredibly wet. In all the rainfall models, I managed to have a quick gasp out before I had to rush off and do actually earn some money. Still wet. So here we go. Let's hop into it. No more mucking around. Okay, so we got the radar in front of us here. So quickly review today. This is we can see steady stream of moisture coming in from that southeast with thick autocumulus, nimbostratus, probably whatever stratus you want to throw to it. Probably more like nimbostratus actually, thick grey rain bed. Supported by very cold upper temperatures, which is why it's been very cold today. And you can see that beautiful moisture flowing in from the southeast, and as supported by those upper cold temps, equals some decent falls of rain. No lightning at this stage, no convection, so we might zoom in a little bit more. Now, if windy is behaving itself, we should be actually able to see what the conditions are, what they've been. So we've got temperatures. We can see the reported temperatures at the moment, which is pretty damn cold. We can see actually one of the features of today has actually been the incredibly light winds. All the models were going for gusty conditions today, and they just did not happen. So interesting there. Now I'm going to see if I can find usually is a rainfall figure here, and I'm going to see if I can find a recent precip. There we go. But of course, it doesn't tell you all of it. It just says what's fallen recently. Well, that's helpful. Um, ah, well, there you go. I know last time I looked, it was about, I think it was at 10 to 15 mils for most places, which is pretty good considering. And I think there's still a bit more to come tonight. We can see some heavy showers now moving in from the southwest, especially around the sort of southern basin at this stage. But they'll push in again, continue to push in right through overnight, and they should start to ease a bit overnight, before refiring up a bit tomorrow. But we'll check those outlooks in a second. Otherwise, it is cold, and tomorrow we'll have a look at just what we're going to be seeing. And I don't think it's going to be very warm, just to tell you quite frankly right now, pretty much like today. Let's go. We'll have a look at what the temperatures are going to be tomorrow. Now, if I actually put the right layer on again, let's go here. We'll go to forecast the weather, and we'll go to actually favorites. So tomorrow it looks like it's going to be again a little bit warmer, especially in the west, up to a massive 15 degrees there at this stage, but pretty cold on the coast still, with pretty 11 to 13 probably on the coast. Some lightning off the coast tomorrow, and I'm not sure it's easily updated yet, which is indication or indicative of that cold air really starting to fire up. But you can see as that southerly surge pushes north, it's actually contracting most of the stuff off the coast as this coastal trough starts to organize itself, if indeed that's what's still around. We'll look at Axis C, which is the higher red stuff for tomorrow. Get its take on stuff quickly, and then we'll hop into live reacting together and see exactly what's going on for this weekend. You can see actually Axis C is going for pretty chilly conditions. It's not warming up much. We get 14 degrees out in the west, and that's about as much as we're going to get tomorrow. So it looks like it's going to be 11 to 14. Again, another freezing cold day. You can see those showers, though, contracting to the coast as early as this evening or overnight. You can see still some good showers flashing around. Some heavy falls Axis C is going for tonight. So that's a bit of a train going. You can see how these lines are in the convection here, or the rain, and that's those sort of you hear those rain trains or streams. It's like very indicative of stream showers. You know, these moisture streams pushing shore, and you can see these lines definitely indicate just the showers driven by the shear or the winds offshore, pumping the sort of moisture together, and the cold air then helping to condense them into rainfall. And then we can see that obviously that start to die up. As you can see, the winds here start to just change. You can see here definitely on the wind streams here, pretty consistent southeasterly, and then as they hit the coast, they tend to start kicking back to the north. That's pretty indicative of that coastal trough sort of hanging around. There's a weak one around at the moment, but that's more attached to that sort of subtly sort of change. It's sort of pushing up the coast. But then we'll start to see those streamlines enhance a bit as we get closer to this event. But you can see tomorrow why the showers die off very quickly. You can see those wind streams definitely start to stop pushing onshore and actually start to head more north off the coast. And of course, then the main driver of those showers is gone. It's off the coast, so anything pushing them ashore doesn't work anymore, doesn't get them here, doesn't help us. And so, of course, they retract off the coast, and then we'll start running parallel to the coast as that suddenly sort of rages north. So you feel a few little coastal showers hanging around, little bit in there and everywhere, but and you can see inland here that southwesterly raging really picks up, and that's very indicative of that system sort of starting to develop for the weekend. And so we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, we'll check it out any second now, but just tomorrow, and it looks like it's going to be pretty cold on Thursday night. It looks like it's going to be pretty much clear conditions at this stage, with most of the stuff withdrawing to the coast, but it's going to be colder. Like it's sort of single figures just after the sun goes down already. It's indicative. It's pretty cold upper air, and being dragged down to the surface, and it's going to be chilly. At least right through now until next weekend. So again, just looking for tonight. Tonight will be showers, and then it looks like it's going to be about 9 to 11 again, pretty much like the last night, maybe even a bit cooler in the southwest if the cloud cover does bugger off a bit earlier than the forecast, but still not going to be warm. So make sure you're rugged up, and going out, take your brollies and stuff with you. Alrighty, now the excitement. Let's go into it. So we're going to change that layer to wind gusts as usual, and then we'll check the rain out after it. So let's do this. And we'll go to, I don't think EC has updated yet. We'll just double check. 7 hours ago. Nope. All right, we'll start with first of the rain, GFS. Let's go. We'll zoom out a bit so we get, of course, I always click the freaking wrong way. We'll zoom out a bit. We can see just exactly what GFS is saying. We can see already here. Again, as I said, that coastal trough is already hanging around, but any weak one. But you can see here that subtly changes, pushing up. You can see that bend as that coastal trough does start to develop up there off the mid-north coast and extends down to the south coast. We can see just pushing through now till tomorrow. We won't kick around too much into Thursday because obviously the activity is not supposed to start till sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can see that little surge of southerlies. Again, not much happening here. We might just actually zoom out a bit more. Let's get the click right. Yay! It's up for out. You can see here, GFS has sort of pulled it off the coast a bit. Interesting. Keep an eye on that because that's it. You can see the trough basically extends way back here. It's way up north now on basically the Queensland New South Wales border. Just a strong southerlies flow pushing up into it. And interestingly, the strongest part's now on the eastern side. But again, you can see as a consequence of that flow up there, it's sucking in again this extra flow from the south as it wraps into this system that's heading out to the east. And you can see that surge in southerlies. Not as strong as we've been seeing, but anyway, we'll kick into Friday and we'll see what happens. It's sniffing like a bit here that GFS might have a bit of a different scenario than we've seen recently, which is interesting. But let's see, we'll just see. We won't prejudge stuff. We can see here again, really not strong winds as was first expected. So that's an interesting scenario. Bit of an onshore flow developing. We can see here as the wind starts to turn to that southeast. Bit of a kick up here. So there's a bit of a trough off the Sunshine Coast down into the Gold Coast. Very weak surface trough coastal trough extending right down, but really nothing much happening there. So that's something new. You can see here this sort of bend now is starting to happen, and that's what we're watching. You still see that surface trough up off Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast. Weak surface trough extending right down, coastal trough, sorry. Starts to wind up a bit there. There's really not much change. We can see that this part here is actually starting to get a bit stronger. You can see that obviously the winds are getting gusty and flowing right in. And this is that the inland system is going to come across and connect with the coastal system, and it's supposed to amplify it and kick it off. So we'll keep an eye there. But timing looks a bit different. You can see here coastal trough still hanging around the Sunshine, the Gold Coast now. Really not kicking up still a lot, but and you can see there's two different systems here just by this discontinuity, the difference in the system here over us, and then you've got this one to the north. In let's see what happens. Starts to wind up, which is a good sign here. GFS has that sort of early Saturday morning now. Trough system up here on the Sunshine Coast, sorry, the Gold Coast. I keep getting places wrong. Into northern New South Wales, far north coast. Really wrapping in, and this looks like it's definitely some sort of upper system here. Looking at that, we've already even checked it out, pretty an upper low or upper trough, which is heading towards. So it's very cold air moving towards the coast. You can see in response, this starts to suck in air towards it. It really starts to drag in. At this stage, it's still quite far north. There you go. It really starts to amplify now as that colder air starts to move across the coast. You can see why, because this flow here is sort of starting to weaken, and then you can see the focus now becomes the eastern edge of it on the coast. You can see that coastal trough's right down now into the south coast, really starting to hammer up, push in, but it's a bit later. And there we go. Saturday afternoon, according to GFS, is really starting to wind up now. You can see this really broad southeast to east to northeasterly flow, really flowing into it. Again, the focus on GFS is that still that northern component, which is where it had yesterday, if you remember. Really starting to wind up now, very deep trough, really hammering in. Us on the very southern edge, so I don't think GFS is going to be a very wet scenario for us. It's going to be more definitely focused around that Coffs Harbour, north, mid-north coast, and southern far north coast sort of area. Circulation developing out there in the northern Tasman, southern Coral Sea. Again, the troughs focus for GFS anyway as well on that north coast. Some stream showers here, but definitely not anywhere near the rain scenario that we've seen. Again, Tasman low, Coral Sea low, whatever you want to call it, really starting to bomb in relation to that cold air really moving across now and interacting with those relatively contextually warmer sea surface temperatures. You see the southern side, which is really just hammering in. Not much for us at this stage on GFS anyway. That's really a different scenario. You can see here quite a massive, nasty system, but pretty much off the coast for everybody except sort of clipping that far eastern, far north coast into the Wales and into Monday to disappear. Now, this is interesting. That's a whole totally different scenario. All right, well, we shall see what the icon has got. So it's very much mirroring what GFS has too, which is this the actual real convergence area way out now, out near Burnt Pine, out in the northwestern Tasman Sea, which is not what they had yesterday. So that's a real significant shift, even for icon. Still has this the southeasterly flow in response, flowing up the coast, pushing one up into almost the Sunshine Coast. And let's see what happens. Really nothing much there. Weak surface or coastal trough developing along there. Nothing really strong there, but there's some showers associated with that on this icon scenario anyway, but nothing anywhere interesting at all. And you can see again pretty much what GFS said, which is interesting. Trough developing off that sort of Sunshine Gold Coast sort of area in response as this inland system comes. Now the thing is, I think what they're saying, both GFS and icon, is this upper trough / low with that cold air that's moving in from the southwest to the west is a little bit further north than the first few runs had it, and so that's obviously going to focus the development further north in response, obviously, where the cold areas, of course, that's where the development will be. So we're getting that rapid effect on the southern side of it into these systems, which will be quite a different scenario in relation to rainfall for us if ICON and GFS are correct, because the greatest area of convergence, or where the winds are, obviously even squeezed together either by the trough or in any embedded lows that may develop, will be around this area here as that cold air obviously approaches and the system develops and then amplifies up here. You can see here just a broad sort of southeasterly flow. Yeah, it'd be cold still. There'll be some showers, but it won't be anywhere near the amount of rain that was originally forecasting. You can see here now it starts to develop. You can see the coastal trough, surface trough extending right down here. Not really overly strong as yet. You can tell by that is because the strongest winds are well off the coast. So what happens is the winds come racing in and they slow down. So you can see where the rain's going to be. It's just off the coast here. Still some showers. You can see the wind streams are bending as they hit the coast. Some showers there, but nothing that's going to be overly interesting at this stage. We'll see. And you can see now it starts to actually encroach upon the coast, get closer. So this area, this dark orange, and the wind streams are starting to tighten up. That's definitely enhancing some showers, especially for us. Maybe not the Hunter. You can see the Hunter still not, but you can see how now that orange is starting to really push ashore. That orange, so that's those winds. You can see that the coastal trough extending right down here. And you can see this this embedded low, or the trough itself, sliding down the coast, and that obviously will enhance, as I just said, will obviously enhance the trough, and then there it goes. So ICON definitely disagrees with GFS in terms of the strength of it. So that's where they sort of their paths diverge. But you can see again here, though, it does agree with it. Sort of obviously the greatest focus will be on its southern and southeastern side, and that at this stage will be that sort of mid-north coast, south mid-north coast, maybe a bit of Huntsville, something Saturday morning. Let's have a look. And then you can see it actually continues to slide down, which is much like that had, if you remember, 2 runs ago, interestingly, it's pretty much what GFS originally had before it went to this today's scenario. So, yeah, here it comes down. You can see now really pushing into that southern mid-north coast, into the Hunter, and also into the central coast, Illawarra, and us, of course. That's definitely a wetter scenario for ICON. And there we go. That's actually pushed the timing back quite a bit, probably by 12 hours or 18 hours a bit. So this may actually push the whole event back into Monday as well. We'll just see what it does. But you can see here, it's slowly moving down the coast, and you can see as it does get down, it actually is intensifying, because this band of really strong winds here, up to 60 knots, really starting to focus here. Let's go into Saturday night. And then we start to see this other system really start to ramp up to the north east, and that will start to drag away a lot of the focus from the coastal trough here, this surface trough, and redirect it back up to where this low is potentially developing here. But still pretty wild, gusty conditions for the Hunter right down to the Illawarra on this. And you can see here really starts to ramp up, pretty intense winds there. And you can see the result, even just a few hours. You can see the focus here, not a lot here. And then you watch this massive air as it streams in. You watch it start to sort of keep back towards that developing low. You can see here, and it starts to rob this area here, especially the flow into us. It starts to drag that flow back up into the low itself, as opposed to on the coast. It starts to weaken it, but then interestingly, it starts to actually retrograde it back towards the coast a bit. Well, now that's an interesting scenario. You can see here the trough heading off to the east and northeast. This area convenes. You can see it then extending back here to the sort of southwest. Let's see what it does. It's pushing it back towards the coast. That's fascinating. Really sort of a lowy trough. We can see here still winds are off the coast, maybe clipping those far exposed, but and then it starts to push back up into the far north coast and into southeast Queensland, clipping those areas here. Pretty strong winds there. Pretty gusty showers, and then it just devolves into that giant, massive trough slash low slash gaping hole in the Tasman. You can see definitely it's on icon. It definitely goes for us. Um, you can see here that again. Still some showers into Sunday lunchtime. You can see pretty dramatically will ease into Sunday afternoon. You can see as it really focuses with that system and it starts to head sort of northeast, and you can see it drags away and starts to turn those winds more south, and then you'll probably find into Sunday evening some more southwesterly. Still a little bit of southwesterlies, which is good to see, but not a lot left in that juice left in that for us. Looking at that, you can see it starts to tweak around. Into Monday, it'll be backing off and disappearing, which is what it is. So a different sort of scenario there for icon that it's had recently, so that's going to be interesting sort of scenario. Anyway, let's go to access, and we won't worry about so much. We'll just skip right to the as Roxette says, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus." Is that Roxette? So access, as you can see here, weak trough again with that little Nike flick on the elbow there, pushing down just off the coast of Ashias by sort of early Friday morning. Not much going on. Let's see. Again, you can see here pretty much what Icon and GFS both had. And you can see again the reason why that upper trough slash low, that really cold air, definitely in northern New South Wales. So all three are pretty much agreeing that's a bit further north than at first expected or modelled. Coastal trough still lies down here though, but not overly strong. So pretty, some southeasterly winds, maybe odd shower, but not much with that. Looking at that. And as that cold air gets closer, you can see that that system starting to ramp up, and you can see the coastal trough extending right down here into almost the northern sort of south coast. Up into Saturday, you see it starts that slide down the coast, pretty much like Icon had as well. You see that trough line going right down here, but off the coast from us, so there's really not going to be much happening there in terms of anything. Let's see. And then you've got this really interesting scenario here, which is this first system, and then it's trying to develop a secondary system here. Keep an eye on that. Obviously, as that cold air comes across, it's going to make a bit of a difference to the rainfall totals that Axis has been running with. But anyway, the system keeps sliding north. Nothing really come about of that. Still, the coastal trough extends right down here. Most of the focus is still up, and then very much like what Icon had as well, starts intensifying around that sort of southern mid-north coast or mid-north coast area. You see the fetch those winds though, it's really just right down into all the north south coast here. We should start to see showers kicking up definitely by sort of Saturday morning, Saturday lunchtime. You can see here really ramping into Saturday night. Let's see if it continues to go down. Again, very much like what Icon had, start to then develop on the northeast side of it. Still some decent shower activity and winds flowing into us, but you can see very clear trough area here. Really starts to wind up, and the consequences you can see here, it starts to actually divert a lot of that activity from us. You can see obviously diverts into complex trough slash embedded low up here across that northern through Tasman, and then away it goes. Very much like that Icon scenario. Again, very much starts to ease off for us by about Sunday lunchtime and develop again. It's another burst in for that north coast, New South Wales and southeast Queensland, sort of Gold Coast, into that ginormous Tasman coral sea low, whatever you want to call it, slash. But for us, it really starts to back right off. Still southeasterly winds, so still be quite breezy. A few showers, maybe a few stream showers with that, but nothing near what was originally forecast. But we'll see. And into Monday morning, hangs around a bit, starts to withdraw, but really basically it's all over for us. Bar the shouting, really massive system out there, just walling around, annoying the whales. I've got family in Tokyo at the moment with that massive earthquake that's happened in Russia, and they said there's been quite a few whales beached either by the tsunami or by the actual activity from the earthquake up that way. So the interesting FYI for there. I said to the family, well, I'm actually not in Tokyo, I'm down here. And they laughed, obviously. Um, all right, let's see if EC has updated, and then we'll check the rainfall. So quickly test that. Update 24 minutes ago. We have, let's go in, we're going to Friday. So still pretty much the same. You can see the weak coastal surface trough there, really not happening on because that's sort of southerly flow heading up, which is what's going to kick off potentially the activity. And again, pretty much the same location as what Icon, GFS, and Axis has had developing off that sort of Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast area. You can see here again that upper low slash trough, that cold pool, northern New South Wales, definitely a different location, a bit further north than what they originally modelled. You see that the surface trough just backing down here, but definitely not much juice in that at all. EC's not developing much up there at this stage. Just see very light, not a weak trough much. You can see it extending down here, but the interesting part is it's really starting to develop here on this side, which is good to see in terms of we're going to see any rain, but we'll keep an eye on that. See again. So again, runs with sort of the axis scenario. That's sort of two focal areas. One of that sort of New South Wales, northern and sort of Gold Coasty sort of area, and then around this sort of northeastern Hunter, southern mid north coast area again. And I assume it's pretty got to do with where the cold air is coming across. I haven't checked the uppers yet. And you can see here, trough line down, starting to really kick up on that southern side, which is better in terms of what any other models had for us so far. So maybe from Axis, but EC is definitely more in our favour. You can see again, still really not powering up yet. And here we go, as it slides a bit further south, really starts to draw in those northeast easterlies and southeasterlies and drag them across the coast, which is what you want to see. But nowhere near as strong as has been. That's a really kick up there Saturday afternoon. Again, into that southern mid-north coast or mid-north coast, northeastern Hunter into Saturday night. Really not anywhere near as what it had and still quite far. And then it develops that northeastern scenario just like all the other three models have. So I'm assuming this is probably going to be a pretty significant downgrade in terms of rainfall and expected weather for us. In fact, I think a massive downgrade without even looking at it yet. I would hazard a guess. Let's see how correct I am. Nowhere near what the last few runs, including this morning, were showing, which is a pretty significant shift in forecast. Maybe it's the earthquake. Oh, maybe they got the ships running half or whatever it is. Less, chemtrails or something off there, ramping up everything. But that is a pretty massive downgrade. Let's see if how close we are. We'll check out the rain. We'll put it here and we'll start with EC because that's where we are. And we'll go to rain accumulation. Here we go. So we'll do it in our usual 24-hour sort of blot. So we'll do it from now till Thursday 8 o'clock. We'll do it in that way. Actually, we'll do it till Thursday midnight. So just get it nice and clean. All right, so we can see here pretty much focus now. We'll actually put the forecasted weather, which will be rainfall, and I'm going to zoom in and just focus on us. We don't care about other up north areas. Let's have a look what's going on here. Alright, yeah, let's go. So we've got that period there. Pretty much was sort of talked anyway. Few mils out the west, mostly focused on the coast, up to possibly 20 mils. Pretty much what we sort of talked about. All right, let's go into Friday, and we'll have to sort of zoom that bar in a bit because otherwise it'll give us more than 24-hour 20. So we'll just tweak that for you. All right, so Friday, let's have a look. Again, not a real like this day. Starting to pick up though. You can see that sort of northwest component, but still up maximum 20 mils on the coast, 5 mils in the northern part as well. And you can see that the southwestern and southern parts really starting to get some of that rain shower effect from that southeasterlies as it pushes on shore. Let's go into Saturday now. This will be the big test. I reckon it's going to be a lot drier. Let's have a look. Yeah, pretty significant downgrade. still some good stuff for the Illawarra, and that's definitely got to do with the orographic effect from the escarpment there, basically from the Royal National Park down to Saddleback. Really just scoop up those southeasterlies and squeeze everything sort of drop out of it. Still some decent falls though, like 20 up to nearly up to 20 mils in the west, and nearly up to 30 mils on the coast here. Maybe a little bit more in that sort of southeast corner, up to 50 mils around sort of Cronulla, the Shire, Kurnell areas, but nothing like what we've seen. Pretty big downgrade, I must say, pretty massive downgrade. So, with all four models agreeing, you'd say it's probably going to happen, but still, it's only one run, so we take it with the bar. Obviously, a huge bag of salt, but still, definitely flagging that that's a pretty significant downgrade in terms of what we've been seeing. All right, let's go into Sunday now, and you can see it's a huge downgrade to what it's actually been happening, which is unusual, very unusual, and very much to do with that, with the location of that upper cold pool slash trough, whatever it is. Definitely a lot further north, but you can see here a massive downgrade, massive downgrade. So the best we can do now is pretty some gusty, strong, maybe even just very briefly damaging winds there at one stage, but definitely nothing to do with that rain. You can see even the Illawarra's Povo City missing out as well. Maybe up northeastern Hunter might be a little bit more in convergence, but that's a huge shift. Let's go have a look into Monday, but it's not much here at all. And Tuesday quickly while we're here. Dry week ahead next week, so it'll just dry everything out. Next Friday, they did have, this morning had a rain, sort of nothing at all. That's a really big pivot. Even EC this morning next Friday had a bit of rain coming in, and now it's just literally dry that right up. That is a huge shift by the models. That's really interesting. Probably got to do with that system just a bit later, a bit more to northeast, drag everything away. Okie dokies. All right, well, that is fascinating. All right, well, let's see what GFS got to say about this stuff. I think it's going to be a lot drier than it has been too. Not much Thursday, not unexpected. Not a lot Friday, which is not unexpected either. We sort of did say it was going to sort of pick up Saturday. Not much Saturday. Good. It's almost up to 30 mils for the whole basin. That's pretty more consistent, but nothing to have to worry about there. Obviously, pretty windy, showery, but nothing to worry about there. Sunday, not unexpected, dead, as I said, flagged earlier. Maybe up to 5 mils, and that's mostly going to be Sunday morning before the system does clear out. And you can see leftover dregs gone, leftover dregs gone. Wow, that's a pretty big shift now. GFS did have this system coming through from the west this morning, and I can see it's already reneged on that as well. So that's a really massive big shift in our model. So you have to put a big asterisk next to that at this stage. Just say this is one run. So when you have such an about face like this in one run, caution must be exercised. But there's definitely, if there's consensus like that, then you've got to say it's happening. But still, worthwhile remembering it's one run. So that's just, wow, that's a huge shift. There we go. A huge shift. Anyway, let's see icon. So if you recall, I said icon will probably be drier. Let's see how close I am. Just trying to get that bar ready for, because it's very finicky, this one. Pretty much expected on Thursday what we were expecting to see. So Friday, increasing stuff along the coast, not unusual. Probably that will be pretty late Friday afternoon, I'd say, or overnight Friday. Let's have a look at Saturday. It's going to be the killer. It's a bit better than actually what GFS has, and that's pretty more got to do with the fact that it's actually slowing down. Some good falls up into the Niue and Central Coast, up to probably 60, 70 mils there. But for us, 40 mils on the coast, nearly 50 mils in the northern part of it, and still nearly up to 30 mils in the northwest, and then sort of tapering off to sort of an inch, maybe an inch and a half in the south and southwest. Not bad. I think we'd all take that still. That's not bad. Yeah, and then drastically dies off on Sunday. 11 mils on the coast, and that'll be mostly Sunday morning. And then by lunchtime, I'd imagine it's going to be drier than, I'm not going to say that. And then into the week, dead as a doornail, which is, that's expected. It was always going to be very dry after this. Again, all right, let's go. This is going to be the final tests access, and I reckon it's going to look pretty much like we've just seen for everybody else. All right, so some good falls till Thursday, mainly coastal though. That again, that was expected. Friday, all day Friday, better than anything else. So Friday still pretty wet on access. Only up to 50 mils on the coastal fringe, which has been nice. 30 mils in the sort of northeast. Oop. And even up to almost 20 mils out in the west. So then the poor southern area and southwestern sort of be a bit rain impoverished because of that rain shadow effect, but still a few mils out there. They'll be happy with something better than nothing. Let's go look into Saturday. So interesting Saturday with access, totally different scenario to everywhere else. You've still got this focus over the Blue Mountains. There's only 60 mils on there, which is pretty good. Shows you still some decent onshore flow and spotchy sort of flows here now for the rest of the basin, which is not a good sign at all. We can see pretty drastically, even the Gong only 40 mils, which is not good. Southwest does better under access, so I'm pretty sure they'll be happy about that. Bit of rain povo in the south and sort of southeast, so the poor old Shire people won't get their showers on Saturday, but and then dead hole in the middle, which is indicative of those how we saw those winds sort of dying off the coast, but they still have that sort of southeasterly flow, so they drop their load here, sort of die, and then as they hit the escarpment or the Blue Mountains, they get that orographic effect, start to sort of bunch up and get that sort of orographic rainfall on the eastern side, which is very clearly what you can see here. And that's why I've got this sort of rain shadow povo effect here. Let's go into Sunday. I reckon Sunday is going to be dead as a door now. But anyway, not far off it, dead as a door now. Most that will be overnight Saturday into Sunday, so Sunday morning before Sunday lunchtime, before that just clears out. But again, you can see that splotchy effect. Wow, what a huge turnaround after that model has been for 3 days forecasting, 150 to 200 millimeters, and then to go basically for nothing. That's a pretty significant shift, and that's a shitty bit of modeling if that's the case. But again, even Axis has dropped off that Friday sort of event that it was flagging as well. All right, let's have a look at the accumulated falls now. So we'll look from what we've got this time site right through until that Monday night. Well, I should just go Monday now. Nothing else happened Monday. So again, here we go. So Axis is still going for 130 mils on the coast. That's still pretty damn decent, let's be honest. But you can notice the biggest key thing is splotchy sort of falls here. So isolated more falls. So you've got nearly 130 mils on the coast, pretty more than actually. Pretty up to 150 mils, yep, nearly 160 mils, nearly 170 mils on the coast in places, and nearly 180 mils up in that northeast corner, up near Home and Away, Summer Bay. Wonder if Alf's going to enjoy that. And then you got splotchiness, so not far away, you've only got 80 mils, 7 mils, just complete contrast. And same here, quite a wet sort of CBD area, Bondi, sort of Maroubra, even the airport, 120 mils, and then literally across the road, a 40 mil difference, 50 mil difference, 60 mil difference within the space of 10 kilometers. The Shires sort of on the coast, maybe with the 100 mils, but then you backed up 50 mil difference in the space of 10 kilometers. So you can see here, poor old Sutherland, and then down Campbelltown Way, 30 mils, nearly 40 mils. Camden does a bit better, 50 mils out that way, at the Lawn Doctor Way in the Mayor of Camden. So hopefully he'll get his minions to change that for us and maybe make it a bit wetter. Consumer doing much better under the axis scenario because of that orographic effects. Right, let's have a look at what EC is saying. EC, hugely different as well. And again, a different pattern altogether. Not anywhere near the orographic effect at all. Coastal effects, pretty consistent, sort of 80 mils along the coast. Quickly and rapidly tapering off as you head inland, which shows the grade. You can see just off the coast, you can see again what they were saying, but those winds racing in and they die here, dump their load, and you see the coast gets the scraps, and then not a lot after that. Illawarra doing okay still, especially along those exposed escarpment areas here. They always do very well. I'd love to live along this somewhere because I reckon they would get probably 2 meters, 3 meters, maybe even 4 meters of rainfall a year. Just needs to have a few more gauges along there, I think, because they definitely do so well with rainfall in these situations. Yeah, that's a pretty depressing shift, but that'd be helpful for people up there Shout out to people up there in the Yarramalong Valley, looking after their horses and worry about the rain. Don't have to worry about that now too. And shout out to our friends up there who are worrying about their craft and after show and that sort of stuff. Who've been messaging me about the creeks. I think you have to worry about your creek now. I think it might be nice and runny, but won't be much worry about flooding. Looking at this scenario, let's check GFS. GFS definitely 50 mils done. That's absolute huge shift and change. And Icon will be interesting as well. Which Icon we haven't? The Icon very much the EC and a bit of access. The coast still doing pretty good, so up to 100 mils on the coast, maybe 120 mils in the sunny coast, but not much pushing inland at all. So again, the Yarramalong Valley with the horses and up there with their shows, you have to worry about those creeks now. I think this is a huge downgrade. Even the gong's getting ripped off. So what a turnabout of events. Not much to say about that. That is shite, I guess, in terms of you're looking for rainfall. Still going to be a wet and sort of windy weekend, but nothing what we saw previously. So we'll just make sure before we get all morose about that, or if we get morose about that, we'll see just what the morning run model shows, just to make sure we've got consensus collaboration. But when you have 4 aligning like this, pretty much I think it's going to happen. It's a pretty lay down Mazir type situation. Pretty disappointing end to, and so close to the event too, to have it shift so significantly like that. It's quite unusual, but the weather is the weather. Let's have a look here. Still cold though, and that's going to be the shitty part about it. Cold, showery, not as strong winds now. I guess it's going to be good, but it's still going to be pretty miserable. And then we have to put up with that crap. So, dang. Interesting is it's some milder, warmer weather on the backside of it, whereas the last scenario was going to be pretty cool right through. But we're looking at a few 18s and 19s there next week. Interesting scenario there. Let's have a look. Look out there. Still, yeah, pretty much access as well going through. Still pretty cold, horrible to the weekend. Definitely windier on the access outlook. Let's have a look at Media Blue is doing. Now, see, it is not given up on it being a very wet weekend at all. Look at those figures there, Saturday. 9, 13, 14, 15, 15, 13, 13, 7. It's still going for, yeah, that is interesting. And that's just updated right now. So that's actually saying, be interesting to keep an eye on that, because that's actually sticking the middle finger up to the main models and Media Blues going, you know what? You guys are wrong. If you add that there, and I can't do accumulated rainfall in Media Blue, I can't do any of that stuff, so I can't really give you an idea what it's saying. But if you add it up quickly in the head, then you've got what, 10, 20, 30 mils Friday, 20, 34, 50, 65, probably 100 mils Saturday, probably another 50 something mils Sunday. So still running with some pretty decent rainfall there on Media Blue. So, and it's just updated. So it's not like it's lagged or it's early. It's seeing things a lot differently to the other 4 models. I need to check out what's going on with the other models. We'll have a look at that later. But yeah, that's a very interesting change in scenarios. Yeah. Quickly, I just want to show you the climate drivers at the moment, because there's been a bit of a change there too. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger. Hopefully you can see that. Big change in climate drivers. Finally, the IOD is heading into a potential negative IOD stage. You can see it's minus 0.44. You need to be -1 to get into a negative IOD to be officially classified. That's actually dropped down from -0.4. So it's dropped 0.04. So it's dropped down 0.4 in this week alone, which is pretty significant trend. The SAM is bouncing around all over the place at the moment. Yeah, it's gone from quite strong positive to quite decent negative to back up to positive. So it's all over the place. So again, the trend is that, but the Enzo is the other thing I want to tell you too, the SOI. It did drop quite a bit. So the SOI 30 days is the orange, the sort of that olive color one. And see, it actually sort of went back up to close to being zero there for a little while, and then really started to drop in the last period of time. Just in the last few days, really went from like minus. Sorry, it's gone increasing. It's gone from like +3 to +6. Where am I looking? Why have I got the wrong color? Where is my? That is not the right. Why is it? It's just June. Brain. That's why I'm like thinking. What the hell? It's got the wrong month in there. Let's go back in here and actually put it on the right month. Let's go here. Let's go. Oh, I can't see it. I can't get down there. I have to make it. I hate when actually Looker does this. Go Google. I can't still even see it. How stupid is that? Let's try that way. No, that is just bizarre. What a dumb Google. Let's see if I can just go. Can't do 1st of August because it'll throw an error. I generally can't see. I'm gonna do here. Just give me a second. I'm gonna have to make it its own sort of little area and then drag it up. Try and put it off screen a little bit because that is just Dumbo. Chrome or Google? I don't know how it expects me to change the date if I can't actually even see the date. All right, let's just go. What we'll do is we'll just go. This year to date should pick it up. Include today. Nope. That's gonna be clever. Right. Well, anybody got any ideas from a tech perspective here that can help me out? Because there we go. Maybe that might help. Let's see. There we go. Let's go. Apply that. Done. I was going to say before, like that does not look like what the current data is. And it's like, huh? Right. Now we've got some better. Once it loads, let's go. Mr. Hamster's in the wheel, and that quickly need to hop off. So there we go. Much better. And we're actually cooking with gas. You can see here the olive line is the SOI, and you can see how it's steadily just quite typical for this time of year. Just sit back to the zero. Went below zero for a little bit, not much, and steadily be increasing up. And I still definitely think there's going to be a La Nina in this year. Probably only a weak to moderate one, and a short-lived one at that. It's going to be one of those ones probably won't do much for us, I don't think, at this stage. But we'll see. But you can see definitely increasing, and there's a bit of a tropical wave that went through here, so it dropped it back a bit, but it's definitely bounced back up. In fact, the last couple of days, it's gone from 4.2 to over 6, so up +2 in just a few days, which is pretty significant for that. And you can see again this the SAM is this darker blue line just all over the place. Went from plus 3.78 there down to minus 1.2 and sort of back up, and it's flatlined a bit, sort of bouncing around a bit. But yeah, the SOI is the one that's interesting me, and that is driving a wetter signal for us in the according to my model for the next period of time. So we'll see how that plays out. So you remember these peaks I explained before that all sort of related to definitely some rain events. So that one back in April we had, that one back in May we had, the massive rainfall event. And again, the one back in June, you can see how, again, the peak and the SAM, that's the stuff for that rainfall event in June. So, in early July, well, end of June. So, interesting times. All right, quickly say good day to everybody because I am going to get divorced if I don't get heading soon. Let's put the radar back on. Look at that. Well, play that in the background. And we'll just do the last hour. We don't need the whole that stuff here. Let's go. Load up. All right, my let's go. So g'day Ratso, g'day Ryan, g'day Colaval, nice and cold. Ooh. Hello Rachel, I go camping. Love to see you here, Mr. Max YCY, Mr. Well. I hope you are well. Mr. Sean, hello, lovely to see you. Hope you are well. Mohammed, sorry. Oh, lovely to see you, Mohammed. When have you been? Hope you've been well. Cody, lovely to see you too. EJ, up on Sandy Coast. I hope you're well. Northern Coast, Central Coast is looking pretty much like us, although you guys are still on that very southern edge, so you might be better than we go, but it's not looking some massive downgrade in all the models. Stormcat is actually doing pretty well today. It's his first day off meds. He's been still a bit quiet, I think, but at this stage, going well. Fingers crossed. He didn't actually come down and say goodnight to everybody tonight, which is interesting. Pretty bit too cold for him. Here we go, freaks. You actually are incorrect. So go and have a look. And it wasn't a rant. It was actually not there. And the receipts are there. And they didn't post anything until 2:43, 2 and a bit hours after the NOAA Tsunami Warning Center had issued stuff. That did include Australia. So again, you're wrong. You are wrong. You're wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong. It wasn't accurate. It was wrong, freaks. Wrong. NOAA didn't put out an update for tsunami until 12:23 after Japan meteorological tsunami people had put out a Pacific-wide threat for a potential tsunami. And so you're wrong. And how could they put one at 9:54? Because the earthquake didn't happen until like 11. What are you talking about? 10 or something like that. So 9:54? The earthquake hadn't even happened. You reinvent history, Mr. Freaks. You bombed down here and you've just embarrassed yourself. And Mr. Freaks, I'm glad you actually did park wide, because you know that you said that baloney about there's no such thing as a warm cooled low. Dear me, maybe Google cut and paste didn't quite work for you that time, because it's baloney as well. Anyway, you missed out, freaks, because we've been here waiting for you for 45 minutes to come and see with your waffle. You're too late, because I have to actually go and pick up people. So, oh, shame. Anyway, the rest of you enjoy paying out freaks, because he's absolute baloney, predicting an earthquake that didn't happen. Oh my God, the Bureau had their crystal ball out and said the earthquake happened. How awkward for you. Wow, that's incredible. They put out a warning for an earthquake that didn't happen before that. Wow. Unless you deliberately change the time of that earthquake there, freaks, to actually try and make a point, which would be even more disingenuous and dishonest, actually. But yeah, good try for that. I didn't say, I've never decided, have I ever said anybody here dislike the BRM? But I call out when I think things are wrong. I call everybody out when I think things are wrong. So that's the way things are. If they can't take criticism, that's their, I'm sure they're used to it. They're big enough for it. But when you have a Earth widespread national, international, that's the word I was looking for, agency like NOAA, who are pretty good at doing tsunamis, say, and Japan, who are pretty good at doing tsunamis, put out stuff saying there's a potential out there, and then we don't hear from our bureau for hours later, not till 2:43. That's pretty ordinary, and I think that's the right to call that out. It could easily cut things off and said, you know what, we've heard that, we don't think there's much of a threat here at all. And I refreshed for hours from 11:20 right through to and this afternoon, and then I was busy with actually working and earning crust. So I think that's pretty fair to call that out. It's not about not liking it. You like to turn it into feelings, because that's exactly how you try and get your little gotchas and make it about, oh, you hate them, this is about hate. And not at all. In fact, I very rarely mention on my page at all the Bureau. In fact, I call them out when I think it's wrong, and I call them out when I think they're right. And anybody who's here, aside from you, because you're obviously got an axe to grind about something, don't particularly care what, they'll tell you that I give the Bureau kudos when they deserve it, and I call them out when I think they deserve it as well. That's the way it is. That's fair. Just like anybody else does. Just like you've been doing here, which you're entitled to. I don't care. Like, I don't block you. You've got an opinion. No matter how warped, wrong, or motivated it might be yourself. But, that's the way it is. Nothing to do with, like, the Bureau at all. I just think that they should have put something out a lot earlier, especially when there's an international agency saying that there was a tsunami threat for Australia with between a 30 centimetre and a 1 metre wave. Like, that's pretty significant. And we don't have nothing from our national organisation for 2 hours after that warning goes out. I think that's something that needs to be called out. And that's not unreasonable to expect that they actually did something about that. So, yeah. You can rewrite the narrative you want. You can change the narrative you want. And guys, don't just ignore him. He looks for your reactions. That's what he's here for. He hides behind his apparently atmospheric science degree that he didn't even know there was such thing as warm cooled lows. Lol. But awkward for his Mr. Atmospheric Science degree person. You'd think would know about that sort of thing, but yeah, okay. He just looks for your attention. He's just here to get everybody to pile on him because then he pretend to be the victim and feel all upset about it. Everybody's picking on me. Well, you can have your opinion, freaks, and if people call you out and disagree with you, that's fine. That's the way life is. Don't hide behind a keyboard. Done and dusted. I hope everybody else has a fantastic night, and we will no doubt catch you on the morrow. Otherwise, I have to actually bolt and do the Herald because I'm now massively late. Otherwise, we will see what the next few hours brings. Hopefully tomorrow morning's runs of the models will give us a little bit more concrete stuff, but it looks like pretty much showery weekend, not much else now, as if all four are correct. Although, as I said, Meteor Blue still running with a different scenario, so that'd be interesting to see. Because they do use EC, it says on their website, but they also run their own stuff, so that's interesting. Yeah. Fascinating to watch how this one rolls out. When did I say I know better than them? Like, you're just making stuff up now. Like, you're just absolutely saying these outrageous, outlandish stuff. You just actually, their opinion, they're not facts. And you're just doing stuff to get, you're not going to get a bite at me. I don't care. I really don't care what you think of me either. You can come in here and you can spout crap. I'm not going to ban you unless you start being abusive and rude, and I'll let YouTube deal with you because then they can do you better than I can. I don't care. And, you know, the only thing you're achieving here is by showing everybody what a douche you are. And, you know, if that's your goal, congratulations. I'll print your certificate up and actually send it out to you. But you don't worry me. Your opinion of me means zero. Means diddly squat. You give nothing to the page. You contribute nothing to the page. You pop in when you think you got an axe to grind and try and get a gotcha moment. Big deal. You're a hero. Congratulations. Yay, everybody. He'll try and catch everybody out on an incorrect use of a terminology so he can feel justified in what he's doing. Oh, that's float your boat. Congratulations, dude. Don't worry me in the slightest, actually. I was hoping you'd pop by, you know, like, it's always good to have someone who like that, like yourself, thinks that, you know, they're God's gift to everybody and walking to bring your, bestow your gracious knowledge upon us all and your atmospheric science degree from Monash or whatever it was in Victoria. Oh, can you hear that rapturous applause in the background where everybody's just celebrating your esteemed knowledge and, oh, you must feel so self-congratulated by it. Anyway, the rest of us just going on with life and have a great evening because that's pretty about all we really care about. So enjoy. Revel in your own self-importance. Otherwise, it is time for me to go and pick up. I will wish you all a fantastic evening and enjoy, freaks. Don't be rude. No need to be rude to him. He's looking for you to do that because he can feel justified in how he behaves. Don't give him that justification. Just be all the awesome, pleasant people that I know you are, and enjoy your evening, and look after yourselves, and we shall catch you on the morrow. Good night.